I just want to say that I appreciate the Boston Celtics and Golden State Warriors because we've seen, honestly, one of the worst playoffs in recent memory, where there have been numerous games that have ended in blowouts, a bunch of substantial injuries to key players, a lot of our favorite players that are polarizing that we love to talk about, like LeBron and Kevin Durant. LeBron and the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. And Kevin Durant, they got swept in the first round. Giannis got out in the second round. Ja got out early. So it's like, it wasn't really a lot to talk about, and a lot of these games have been lopsided. But this game today was very high octane. It was very much on par with what Boston is, with their youthful exuberance and their great switching defense. And the Golden State Warriors, the ethos that they've created, a ball movement, cutting and slashing, running off screens, and just bombing three-pointers. So it was a really fun game, although Boston did pull away and they won by 12 points. It was still a very fun game that was very tight and highly competitive. A lot of great masterful defense that you saw from both the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. When I saw the Boston Celtics put the clamps on the Brooklyn Nets and how they dominated Kevin Durant like you haven't seen since early in his career, I knew that they were going to most likely be the Eastern Conference representatives in the NBA Finals. Because the defense they were playing, it's defense I've never seen before, because they were able to slow down KD, Giannis, and for the most part, Jimmy Butler until Jimmy started cooking. Like, they were able to slow them down. Aggressive trapping defense. They were playing really aggressive man defense led by Marcus Smart, the defensive player of the year. I was very impressed by their defense. And I knew that they were going to make that run. But the Warriors I was shaky on. The reason why I was shaky on the Warriors is the reason why they lost today. Steph Curry is the only player that can really, truly get his shot. I was trying to put things together in my mind about what I wanted to say. And, of course, Kevin Durant popped in my mind. And he's been a huge discussion on NBA Twitter and also in NBA media, because I guess that they're not getting the ratings that they need to talking about basketball. So they're talking about LeBron. They're talking about Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant popped in my mind. And the reason why Kevin Durant popped in my mind is because I see why Kevin Durant succeeded on this team. The reason why Kevin Durant succeeded was because he was given the space to operate in isolation sets. You couldn't trap or double team Kevin Durant because all he could do was just kick it out to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, even Draymond Green. If Draymond Green's hitting three-pointers that game, you couldn't stop him. And then especially you go to that small ball def lineup, they were unstoppable because you had shooters all around Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant flourished because when the play broke down, the clock was winding down, Kevin Durant can make his own shot and just rise up above you and score, and it was unstoppable. The Warriors' offense was just simply unstoppable when they played at that time. But what you see often in the Warriors' offense, when the motion offense goes down and they start switching heavy, the other team that they're playing, their defense starts to switch. They start to blitz Steph Curry on that pick and roll, and they stay attached to Steph Curry on the roll, and the back cuts aren't working. You rely on a player that can just dribble the ball, go into an isolation play, and just get a shot off. Steph Curry has always been that guy. Jordan Poole has those shades in him, but he's sort of come down from that high that he started with in the playoffs against the Nuggets. He's sort of come down a little bit. Jordan Poole can get his shot off like that, but Steph Curry still is the master at playmaking. Jordan Poole had 9 points today, by the way. Steph Curry had 34. I think that is the problem in the Warriors offense. When all the motion, you running all around all the plays, and that breaks down, and the defense figures you out. They start to switch, and they start to stay attached to those shooters. And now there's no open shots. Now you're not fooling the defense. How are you finding your shot? When the game started, the Warriors were just whooping them. I'm not going to lie to you. When the game first started, I'd say honestly the first 5 to 6 minutes, they were doing drop coverage on Steph Curry. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? I was tweeting it. What are y'all doing? Why are y'all deciding, you know what we're going to do? we're going to let Steph Curry shoot at the top of the key. That's the same defense we saw the Portland Trailblazers in the 2019 Western Conference Finals where they got swept, and you had CJ McCollum on the alternative feed for the NBA Finals game on ESPN2 with Tim Legler. Ask CJ McCollum how that went in 2019. They didn't win a game. And Kevin Durant didn't play that series. He was injured. They didn't win a game because Terry Stotts was like, you know what? I want y'all to go under the screen. When you know with Steph, the only thing you can do is either blitz that screen, switch, or just fight over it the best you can. Steph had what? He had 21 points in that first quarter. I know for sure he shot 6 3-pointers in that first quarter, an NBA Finals record for a quarter. Steph Curry went on to have 34 points. He shot 6 3-pointers in the first quarter. Only shot and made one more for the rest of the game. Because Ime Udoka is a great adjustments coach, and the Celtics figured out how they needed to defend Steph Curry to make it harder for them to score. And once they started to semi-solve Steph Curry, Steph started to heat up a little bit in the third quarter. The game was over after that. Because Steph started to fluster, and the energy came out with in the first. You didn't see it in those other quarters ad nauseum to the point where he took over the game and the Warriors ran away with it. This Warriors team is beatable. They're not world beaters. They're not a super team anymore. They're not overpowered because they have Kevin Durant. They're not that anymore. They're now very beatable. And this Warriors team, I believe, is going to lose to this Boston Celtics team in 6 games. Imagine this. Imagine Jason Tatum, who's an all-NBA first teamer this year. He has 12 points. Shot 3 for 17 from the field. Only made 1 3-pointer. He gets 13 assists, and that's what you ask for from your star player. That was the same thing that I was saying about James Harden. If James Harden isn't going to give you 25, 30, 35 points, man, give me 15, 20 assists. That's all I want from you. At the very least, contribute in some way. Go get 7 or 8 rebounds. Contribute in some way. And that's what Tatum did. 12 points, 13 assists. It's not great, but at the same time, you did something and you didn't score, but you set up your teammates. But Jason Tatum is definitively their best player. And I hear the argument that Jaylen Brown is really the best player. I hear that argument. But Jason Tatum, by the books, by the history books, and by the rankings and the awards and the accomplishments, Jason Tatum is a first-team All-NBA player this year, and he started to get MVP chatter. You expect more than 12 points from your All-NBA player. But we play this game, and we love this game because it's not just one person. This isn't boxing. This isn't UFC. This is a team game. And what I love to see is teams pulling out the win instead of just one individual person. When the Warriors played the Cavaliers all those years, what'd you see? You saw it being LeBron and Kyrie versus the Warriors. And then in 2018 and also 2015, when Kyrie and Kevin Love went down, you saw LeBron versus the Warriors. In 2019 with Kawhi and the Raptors, you had Kawhi. You had Pascal Siakam. You had Fred VanVleet. You had Kyle Lowry. You had a team. And now in 2022, you have another team that is not going to back down from you. They have role players that know their roles and know when to step up. And they were able to carry Jason Tatum, who had a lackluster game, to a win in the NBA Finals, man. Like, look at these stat lines, man. Jaylen Brown stepped up. 24 points. Hit 2 3-pointers. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. You have Derek White, who turned into Ray Allen. Derek White had 5 3-pointers. He was rising up over everyone. Like, anyone they tried to put on Derek White rose up above him. You can't guard me. And he got him back in the game. In like late third quarter, early fourth quarter, Derek White was the one that got them that lead and was part of the reason why they scored 40 points in that quarter. And he was playing pretty good defense, right? Then you have Peyton Pritchard, came in 2 3-pointers, had 8 points. Marcus Smart, who is really campaigning to be the MVP of the finals on some Andre Iguodala type stuff. He was playing tremendous defense. He was being a floor leader, turned around, had 18 points, hit 4 3-pointers. including one where he fell down. I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing, Marcus Smart. He had an and one play to start the third quarter where he went behind his back and laid up the ball. I'm like, is this the NBA Finals or is this the All-Star game? Is this the charity All-Star game in the offseason? Because I'm like, Marcus Smart balling right now. And then the old man, Al Horford. The old man that played the most playoff games without a finals going into Sunday until he finally made it to a finals. Former Atlanta Hawk. 26 points. He made 6 3-pointers. He led the team in scoring. That is a team. And I believe that is the future of the NBA. We're going to get back to team ball. And that is the reason why the Celtics won. The Warriors had a 15-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And all of a sudden, Derek White and Al Horford couldn't miss a shot. Payton Pritchard came in, made a huge 3-pointer to switch the momentum over. I think it tied the game, and then after that was a wrap. I think it was like 105. It was somewhere along that line, and when Payton Pritchard hit that 3-pointer, and then the Celtics just cruised to a victory. The Warriors looked overwhelmed. They looked just as overwhelmed as the Celtics did to start the game, because the Celtics looked like they didn't need to be there. And I know that the Warriors are going to make adjustments. I know that they lost game 1 against the Raptors in 2019, but Kevin Durant ain't walking through that door. Kevin Durant ain't coming back game 5 like he did last time. They have to figure out a way for all of their pieces to work together in concert and to be able to adjust to the adjustment that Boston is making on the defensive end, or it's going to be a long ride. It's been a lot of discussions about if Steph Curry is going to finally win a finals MVP. And if he wins, will he be on par with LeBron as far as his legacy? Is he going to make the top 10 all time on people's list? But y'all got to win first. And Boston ain't the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers. To a certain point, I think that this Boston Celtics team is better as a whole than the 2019 Raptors team you faced. And they're more well-equipped to face the Warriors than any other team that the Warriors have played this postseason. They're more well-equipped. The only team that was just as equipped with switching defense, long athletic defenders, was the Grizzlies. That was the only other team. And you saw the Warriors had issues with them. The Celtics are an even bigger monster. And they have the reigning defensive player of the year. Clearly, Marcus Smart unlocked a formula. He unlocked a formula that said, you know what? I'm going to be able to lock down or make it hard for your star perimeter player to get a shot off. And he was getting sauced by Steph a little bit in that first quarter, but he was baiting Steph into pushing him and getting offensive fouls. That's all you want from Marcus Smart. You're not going to shut down Steph Curry if Steph is healthy. Steph's going to find a way to get a shot. He's gotten way better with his handles, and he just knows the game now. He's in his 30s. He's a veteran. He just knows the game, and sometimes he's so good, he would hit a 3-pointer right over you. It doesn't matter how much good defensive player of the year coverage you're going to give him. He'll just shoot over you. And that's just how it is. But at the same time, I want to make him work. I want to tire him out and have 21 points to start the game and to end up with 34 points. I think that says a lot about Marcus Smart's defense. I think that says a lot about how aggressive that switch action worked. And I think that says a lot about how they sort of tired him out with making him run around trying to find a shot. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to sweep this series. I think the Warriors will come back and win game 2. I thought the Warriors would win this game, and they had this game won. But the Celtics did not lie down. And that's what I've seen from them this whole entire playoffs. They pulled off several comebacks versus the Bucks, and they pulled off comebacks versus the Heat. They've been tested this playoffs. The Warriors, they were tested by the Grizzlies. They blew past the Nuggets and the Mavericks. The Celtics had to fight for their lives in the second and third round. And those Nets games were close. You can't sleep on Kevin Durant and Kyrie. You still can't. Even with the defense you're playing, you still can't sleep on them. The Celtics are ready. So I think this is going to be a long 6-game series, and the Celtics are going to make it interesting because they're going to win. Lakers fans, which I am a Hawks fan, but I'm a LeBron supporter. I know how y'all going to feel. They're going to get banned at number 18. But listen, deal with it, because I think this is the sign of a new era where we're going to see smart, capable GMs draft well, and build competent teams. I think the Celtics winning is going to be good for this next generation of basketball players and the next generation of the NBA. If the Warriors win, I would say the same thing because it's a result of the team building that they've done. And they won with Kevin Durant. They won 2 with Kevin Durant. They won 2 without Kevin Durant, and they would have won this series. But the Celtics are going to win because they're the number 1 defense. They were the number 1 defense in the regular season. I believe that they're the number 2 defense behind Golden State in the playoffs. But you see the effect that their defense has on the other team. They outscored them 40-16 in the fourth quarter. That shows me that you're doing more than just missing shots you should make. I'm forcing you to miss shots. And to me, that says a lot.